this little baby inside of me is just pure, genuine love and spirit. And I get this amazing opportunity to carry him and protect him, and all those, like mama bear emotions are really starting to take over. Hey everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of Entering Motherhood, a podcast dedicated specifically to new moms going through this amazing journey in life. I'm your host, Sarah Bilger, a postpartum nutritional coach / mechanical engineer. And as always, I'm so excited to be here with you and share all of the information I've been lucky enough to obtain since becoming a mom. This episode is a solo episode about how pregnancy has been going for us so far, with baby number 2 on the way. Okay, so this update is for weeks 25 to 30 of pregnancy with a baby boy. At this point, I'm still only at 1 appointment a month, and at 32 weeks, that will start to go into every 2 weeks. So I've only had 1 appointment since the last update that I had, and things are going great with the midwives. I'm feeling really comfortable with them and confident in, moving forward with the VBAC. At the appointment, we went over lab results and really if I just had any questions, did the standard blood pressure, weight. They asked about, the typical things like nausea, headaches, early contractions, things like that. But overall, it was a really good appointment. Nothing out of the ordinary or no crazy things happened there. I haven't noticed any sort of swelling or anything, and I haven't been having any issues with that, which is really great. At this point with Rosie, I feel like I was swelling and, I wasn't able to wear my rings or certain shoes and things like that. So I'm happy that is not an issue at all yet. He's definitely moving a lot now, and at this point he is really making himself known and giving me some strong kicks or punches or movements to either side. And they did feel around at my appointment because I have been feeling like there's a large bump like up at the top above my belly button, and they did feel around, and he is, or at least was during my last appointment, in a breech position, which means his head is up above my belly button line instead of down below. The head down position is preferred, but it's still super early at this point, and he has so much room and so much time to turn around and flip. So there's really, nothing to be concerned about or anything that I'm doing to ensure that he will be head down, later on. I know that we had talked a little bit about the placement of my placenta before, but I did forget to mention that I have decided to do placenta encapsulation this time around, and I'm really excited about this. I'm kind of anxious to see what kind of differences it makes and how it's gonna improve anything or what kind of effects it's gonna have on my body. You can actually go back to episode 22 and you can learn about placenta encapsulation and who's doing mine and everything that goes into that if you want to know more. So that was episode 22. I've also been consuming more fermented foods in these past few weeks. I went out and I got yogurt and some of this other, there's fermented drinks that you can get. I got pickles, really just consuming more fermented foods. Last time around, I was GBS positive, which is group B strep, and it's basically just a bacteria that can develop and you have. And, this just might be something that happens when you're pregnant, during pregnancy. And they say that fermented foods can help with this, but it's not anything, I think, proven or guaranteed. It could still be something that you have and you test positive for. And if you do test positive, sometimes they require you to be on antibiotics during labor. Ideally, I think they would prefer that you have at least 2 rounds of antibiotics or 4 hours before baby is born, you have been exposed to the antibiotics. I think that's the protocol. At least that's what it is at the hospital that I was at with Rosie. But yeah, I mean, I can go into depth more with GBS and what that experience was like for me, if that's something that y'all are interested in or interested in hearing about. Maybe I can do an episode on that, so just let me know. If you are GBS positive or know somebody that was, or you've never heard of it before, we can definitely go into that. This time around, I don't think it was that much of a big deal when I was pregnant with Rosie, but I've been having some pretty deep thoughts on birth and what it means to be bringing life into this world. And I've just been having such an overwhelming feeling of appreciation that I get to experience this. And I really feel connected with life and energy and just everything that's all around us. And I feel more confident and like I have more courage and strength to own who I am and really just embrace everything about motherhood. You know, I really think that this also has to do with all the work I've been doing with opening up my awareness and my perspective and really just learning more about motherhood in general and connecting with other moms and just opening up to this experience for what it is and being so appreciative of it. And I really feel like this little baby inside of me is just pure, genuine love and spirit, and I get this amazing opportunity to carry him and protect him, and all those, you know, like mama bear emotions are really starting to take over, which is so crazy to realize and just acknowledge and embrace, because I think, you know, with Rosie I was excited and there was all these things going on, but I was more concerned with, you know, do we have everything? Like, do we have the crib and the blankets and the onesies and the bottles and, you know, all the stuff. But this time around, I'm, you know, more so focused on the mental side of things and the mental preparation and the connection that I'm making. And, you know, honestly, it's been a lot smoother of a pregnancy this time around. So sometimes I forget that I'm pregnant until I get like a little tiny kick on the side or something like that. And I'm like, oh yeah. Or maybe I'll like be trying to squeeze through a spot and my stomach is larger than it normally is. So it just gets, you know, oh yeah, I'm pregnant. That's why I bumped into the table or whatnot. And so like, that's been really interesting to experience. Like if it wasn't for the size of my belly or the movement and things like that, like I wouldn't notice that I was as much as I feel like I did the first time around. And I have fully completed the Hypnobabies class that I was taking, and I really enjoyed it. And I'm looking forward to using these techniques during labor and just, you know, seeing how much of a difference it makes and what kind of process it's going to be like this time around. You know, preparing for a VBAC is unique in itself, and using the Hypnobabies techniques and everything that goes into that, I think is really going to adjust that perspective and make it something that's exciting and really just like easier to process. And I think what it's taught me the most is that we really need to, you know, work through and process our fears that we have and everything that's revolving around, you know, birth, postpartum, whatnot. And we need to work towards clearing that and going through that and processing them so that these fears aren't something that we associate with birth. I think if we get it in our head, like, oh, this is going to hurt, this is going to be painful, this is going to be exhausting, this is going to be, overwhelming, this is going to be tough, then that's how we're going to lead into the experience. But if we're excited for it, if we're ready for it, if, we're prepared for it, I think it has the ability to really flip that perspective and allow us to, actually enjoy the process and see it more as this is what needs to be done in order to get my baby, earthside and really just like create life. I think it has a lot to do with the work again that I've been like going through and opening up my awareness and looking at things differently and changing my perspective. And it really aligns with how I want to feel during this time and how I want to feel, going through labor and going into postpartum and what I want to embody during that time. And, it's not really about just blocking everything out and kind of just like, trying to like clear your mind and forget that it's all happening and you're going into this hypnosis state and you're not aware or acknowledging anything that's going on around you. It's really more so being positive and learning how to build a sense of understanding and advocate for what you want and know what you want and build what they call, this like bubble of peace and an environment that you feel comfortable in, not only physically, but mentally. I think last time around, like I made sure again, like I had all the stuff, but I didn't mentally prepare myself for what was about to happen. And I think that's where I was lacking before going into birth. So I'm curious to see how this is really going to flip my perspective and how this is going to, adjust things this time around. And with birth and just motherhood in general, I don't think it serves anyone to just, buckle down and rush through something and, just try to like power through it. I think if we're, afraid of something, we need to dig deeper into why we're afraid of that. And we need to, hopefully like fully educate ourselves about what's really going on and be more open and willing to flip that script and, evaluate everything on a different perspective if possible. And I think if we are able to feel more empowered and more aligned with the direction that we want to be in and go in and, what we want out of it, then we can, run towards that opportunity or run towards that situation openly and genuinely be excited about it rather than fear it. So that is a huge shift that I have seen this time around. And I am so, so fortunate for it. And, I still have like little moments of fear now and then, and I'm working towards getting through that. But, if it's something that you're afraid of, I think the real question to ask is why? And then just keep on digging deeper into that why. Like, why is this triggering me? Why is this something I'm afraid of? Why is this something that I don't understand? And just keep on searching for answers that are going to help you no longer be afraid of that specific scenario or whatever you have going on mentally. There are also affirmations as part of the Hypnobabies that you listen to every day. And two of my favorite that I've been loving right now are my changing body is radiant and beautiful. That's the one. I actually made like little affirmation cards that I have that written out and I try to look at it every day. And the other one is growing my baby is empowering for me. So those are two affirmations that I've strongly been focusing on and using during this period of pregnancy right now. And affirmations are something that mean a lot to me, and also, creating a mantra. This is something that is part of the 30 days to heal your trauma, mama, that I have going on right now in November. And also, if you're not trying to heal from any trauma specifically, you're just preparing for motherhood or pregnancy and things like that, I think these techniques and these tools that I've created are just so beneficial of preparing you in the transition of motherhood. So if you have never created a mantra, or are a fan of affirmations, I strongly suggest you develop that habit or just look into it. And if you want to learn more about that, you can go to episode 33. This is day 10 of Heal Your Trauma, Mama, and just kind of, go and listen to that and check it out and see, what comes up for you there, and what kind of affirmations or mantras do you really want to start building around your life and using in order to create an environment that is more aligned with your thoughts. And so, I'm legit absolutely excited about this birth, and I'm ready to meet my son. But, I want to make sure that he's in there a little longer. He still has some time. Like I said, this is 25 to 30 weeks. So he still has plenty of time to fully develop, and I'm okay with waiting. And we definitely still have some things to prepare and get together anyway. The nursery is going. It's getting there. We built the dresser, and we're working on still building the crib, but all of the sheets and clothes and everything are all washed and hung up, or, I'm starting to also put some items in the dresser and closet and such. So the nursery is definitely coming together. That's also something that I'm grateful that we have the space that's going to be designated specifically for him. But we also are planning on keeping him in our room in a separate bassinet for probably, I think with Rosie we did it about 4 or 5 months. We might have went a little bit longer, but once she was fully sleeping, well, I say fully, but once she was sleeping through the night, and really it seemed like we were disrupting her sleep by sharing the space with her, and she preferred to be in her own room, we were able to transition her out of there. So we're probably planning on, playing it by ear, seeing how he adjusts, see what his schedule's like, and just listening to his cues on what we're going to do there. There's really not much else to update you guys on. I have been having some cravings for orange flavored things. I don't really know why that has been a craving or anything, but I've wanted orange flavored everything. Just, from oranges to orange Gatorade to orange, popsicles and things like that. If it is orange flavored, I am definitely craving it. For Rosie, it was watermelon. I was going through a whole watermelon a week and just absolutely loving it and eating it up. This time it has been oranges. I also did get my flu shot because it is October, November, coming up on flu season, and they recommend that you get your flu shot, if you're pregnant or gonna have a baby during this time. And that is something that I'm totally for and got. And I also did the Tdap vaccine. And, I would absolutely, I know Tdap is TDAP, and it stands for 3 different things: the T, the D, and then how they have AP. And I would totally butcher the names of these things, but I can link it all in the show notes if you want more information about that. They recommend getting this during every pregnancy. It was something that I also got when I was pregnant with Rosie, but they suggest that you have it during every pregnancy in order to protect your newborn, mainly from whooping cough, which can be really violent coughing in newborns and make it difficult for them to breathe and eat and drink and such. So that is something that I did as well during this 25 to 30 weeks. I would talk to your healthcare provider if it's something that you're concerned about or worried about, or even like I said, like I'll try to link some stuff in the show notes to educate you on that. I didn't have any sort of reactions or anything to either, the flu or the Tdap shots. That's really all the updates that I have for you guys. If you have any specific questions about, what to look for or be aware of during this time, you can let me know. I'll update you guys again in another few weeks. And if there's anything that you want to hear or know about or dig into, or really just share your experience, maybe you're in this range too, and going through some things. So let me know like how it's going for you, and what kind of questions you have, and what's going on, and symptoms that you're having, or things that are going on, or what are you preparing for? What are you doing? I've been keeping up with the Tidy Up Thursdays and just picking different spaces of the house to really just clean up. I've done a lot of the closets and the pantry and just different parts of the house, like the closets in the bathroom, the closets in the hallways, and really just kind of like digging out and going through like what's in there. What are we keeping? I've been going through, the drawers and cabinets and everything in my office, and also, like decluttering clothes and tidying up all of that, and really focusing on, creating a clean environment and a clean space to welcome baby. So thank you guys so much for listening to this, and I hope you're enjoying these updates and really getting something out of it, because I love creating this and I love just, documenting this time in my life. And I highly suggest you doing something to document this time in your life as well. Keep a journal or write things down or make a post of any sorts, and really just say like what's going on, what you're doing, because it's fun to look back on and see like what it was like during that time in your life. And, a picture is one thing, but actually writing down your thoughts and your feelings and how you're preparing during this time in your life is so awesome to look back on. So I will talk to you guys later, and I hope everybody's having an awesome week and really just, enjoying whatever stage of motherhood that you are in. All right. Thank you. Well, this wraps up yet another episode of Entering Motherhood. I hope that you have found this episode helpful, and if you liked it, please share it with others who might also benefit from this information. If there's anything that you'd like to know more about, or maybe you know someone who'd like to be on the show, please visit my website, enteringmotherhood.com. I'm so thrilled to be going on this journey with you and getting the amazing opportunity to help moms during this postpartum experience. You can also now find us on Instagram and Facebook at Entering Motherhood.